Did you know there's a short film where Dylan Sprouse plays a sex worker for a wealthy elderly man? It's called Daddy, and even though the plot seems a little spicy, it's actually a very heartwarming piece about grief and acceptance. Mr. Smith is ordering room service for two at a gorgeously expensive hotel, and who might be joining him? Well, Paul is. Except Paul isn't here for his usual spicy services. Paul is here to play the part of Mrs. Smith, who passed away a year ago. Today is Mr. and Mrs. Smith's anniversary, the first one he'll be spending without her, and Paul is here to help him through the day. So Paul wears a dress. Him and Mr. Smith talk over dinner about things they would have discussed had Mrs. Smith been alive, but things unravel when Paul talks about the kids because, well, they never had kids. This was a slip-up from their role play, and suddenly, Mr. Smith is forced to leave his fantasy and face reality. His wife died suddenly, he didn't get to say goodbye, and he feels like he's too old and tired to start over. Paul comforts him, explaining that their love meant something, and when Mr. Smith expresses attraction to Paul, Paul tells him it's never too late to be who he is. The mood changes when they slow dance, and it's here where Mr. Smith is reminded of the moment he spent slow dancing with his wife. Eventually, it comes time for Paul to leave. They share a kiss, Paul heads to the elevator, and instead of going to the lobby, he heads to a different floor, presumably for another appointment. This film was so heartwarming and beautiful, but there's a lot to unpack about it. One of the comments theorized that Paul represents death, and how he's helping people have one final happy memory before they pass. Almost like having your life flash before your eyes. It's why Mr. Smith has such vivid recollections of him and his wife slow dancing. There's a scene where Paul and Mr. Smith are heading back up to their hotel room. A woman in the elevator says, "You and your daddy are looking really good tonight." Daddy represents both the age difference leading the woman to mistake them as father and son, as well as the relationship dynamic of client and worker. Daddy in this case would refer to Mr. Smith as a sugar daddy. This film highlights the complex emotion of grief. It shows how different people grieve in different ways. Mr. Smith is dealing with many emotions: grief, sadness, acceptance over his wife's death, and possibly even struggling with accepting his own attraction towards men. It's why he got a male worker, and why there's a point where Paul tells Mr. Smith that it's never too late to be who you are. As for grief, Mr. Smith wanted to relive the happiest moments of his life, and the only way he knew how to do it was to get someone to help him go through it one last time before he had to let it go forever. I also like how this film showed the complexities involved in Paul's job. In a profession that is stereotyped to be purely physical, it was interesting to see the emotional aspects that came along with the job as well. I also see how it depicts that despite this emotionally charged meeting, Paul's job forces him to remain unattached to his clients. Because at the end of the day, this is a job to him, and even though it made Mr. Smith's whole night, that wasn't the case for Paul. It makes me wonder how workers are able to create a healthy balance. When your job requires you to give so much of your time and energy while mimicking very human emotions, how do you separate the client's fantasy from your reality?